Hey there. So we are going to take a look at doing a maze game part two. We're into a few different game exercises like this. So stay with us. Right now, what we have today's going to be your only project for day part two. You're going to take this maze. You're going to navigate this maze. Now we already did this part. This part's already done. Got it set up. So if it starts moving, let's go ahead and start moving it. You see that I already got it set up to move the way it moved before. I did all the work for you. That part of it's okay, and it's already ready to rock. So you don't need any more than that. The other thing I have set up is the green flag. So if I hit the green flag, it's going to go up here. That's great. The next thing I want to do is I want to add some kind of a timer. Now, a timer is kind of a fun thing. So let's talk about how the timer works. First thing you need to do with a timer is you need to have a variable, and we need to call that variable timer. I already have it set up here. If you don't have it set up, you click name a variable and call it timer, and it shows up here. And the timer is going to show up by clicking it right, click it right there. And that's where the timer comes in. That's great. Now, the timer starts here, and we have to have a destination. So I want this to be able to go from here to the end by the time the maze is done. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go add a sprite called a green flag. And I'm going to go in here and pick a sprite, choose a sprite. I'll type in flag. It'll give me the green flag. And of course, it's gigantic, right? So I'm going to make that green flag down here, and I'm going to shrink it to like 40%, right? Because we don't need it to be that large. And I will set it up so it's right down near the bottom. And I'm going to set it up so that I'm going to use a key we haven't used before. It's called the when pressed. But wait a second, we did that already. Well, here's the thing that we haven't done. We're going to use something called when any key pressed. So anytime you press any key on the keyboard, that thing is going to fire. Now, what's this box going to do? Well, it's going to do some evaluation. And I think you know how to do evaluation. We use if then, right? So we're going to throw in an if then. And if we do an if then valuation, we do if it's touching the kitty. So let's take a look at that. If it's touching the kitty, then what's it going to do? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it, let's have it play sounds. Let's see if we've got any sounds on this. Do I have any sounds on this? I have a pop sound. That's okay. Let's see if I can get a better sound. Let's go to an effect. And I happen to know that that's kind of a cool sound. I like teleport. Let's go with teleport. So I'm going to throw the teleport sound in there, and I'm going to add the code. So if it's touching, play the sound teleport until done. So now I'll just test that out. I'm going to go in here, down to here, right into it. So far, so good. And I have the reset button fixed for you. I already did your reset button. So this is going to be a part of your final project is going to be to set up a reset button. So know how that works. So the reset button is there. Now, that's kind of cool and pretty straightforward. Now, I've got a couple of different backdrops. So here's what's going to happen. I've got a moon. It says time's up, you lose. And a blue sky. It says congratulations, you win. Well, blue sky, you win. I think I can figure that out. I think what I want to do is when I get to the green flag is hit, it's going to broadcast a message. And we're going to broadcast a message called you win. So we're going to go over here to broadcast message. Where is it? Broadcast message. I'm going to have it play that down here, and I'm going to change the message, new message called you win. Drop in that broadcast message, right? It's pretty straightforward. The backdrop, well, when the backdrop receives you win, it's going to switch the backdrop to blue sky. So let me reset it. Wait a second. I'm not getting my other backdrop back. How do I get that? Oh, I know. I'm going to use when green flag clicked, switch backdrop to, and change that to Maze 1. So when I click this, boom, it goes there. I'm going to move this guy down just to make my test go a little faster and go down here, check it out. That's kind of cool. Except the green flag's still there and Kitty's still microscopic. So let's add a few things to that. All right, let's go back to green flag. Let's go over here to you win, right? Let's set something to Kitty. The first thing we need to do is we need to tell Kitty that when Kitty is receives you win, we're going to set Kitty to 100%, and we're going to set Kitty to 90 in the direction. He's moving in the right direction. Put Kitty kind of on the ground there, right? And we're going to make Kitty big. And negative 4, 121 is a good placement as any. So what's going to happen here is when the Kitty receives, you win, Kitty is going to go to negative 4, 121. Those match. Actually going to change point direction 90, the way we did it. And it's in here somewhere. There's the size. That's going to be looks, right? Change set size to 100%. So let's go back to the green. It runs, blah, blah, blah. I move it all the way around. Right in here. Oh, pretty cool. Now we're going to set that up. Now, what about the fact that it's still kind of moving around? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little simple trick. I'm going to do a wait. So let's see what happens. When it broadcasts you win, it's going to teleport to sound. Let's have it wait just a second. So I'm going to just put in a little wait movement. So what'll happen is I was touching the Kitty, broadcast you win here. So now let's reset it, bring it down. This will work. It'll get us through. It's not the best answer, but it'll work. Not great, but it'll get us home. Now, with that in place, let's reset this. Now, the timer still not working. Well, what's going on with that timer? The timer is actually a variable. Let's go over to the variable. It's a variable called timer. And what's kind of neat is we can use this little trick combination between a combination for that timer that allows the timer to go down by a second 60 times. So what we're going to do is when the green flag is clicked, we're going to start the timer. Right in here when the green flag is clicked, Kitty's going to start the timer. And I will go in here and I will grab, and if we're going to grab a loop, we're going to have repeat something 60 times. That's going to give us a minute. If I wanted 2 minutes, I'd put in 120. And then what's going to happen is I'm just going to put in, after each one of these, right, repeat 60 times. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have it wait 1 second. And then I'm going to tell it to change my variable. Change, not my variable, but I'm going to change the timer by a -1. Right, and that's going to go right in here. Watch what happens. As soon as I click this, oh, it's going down. Well, what do I have to do when I click this? The first thing I have to do is set it to 60. By going right in here, we drop that in. Now watch. Stop. Green flag is clicked. Oh, of course. I have to set timer to 60. Let's try that again. Green flag 60, 59, 58. So far now, I'm trying to beat the clock. I'm now going through this. I'm going to beat the clock. Now, wait a second. I'm sitting there trying to race through this and beat the clock. And what's going to happen if I win? If I get to this down here in 60 seconds, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to bring it right down here. And I'm going to say, if I get there in 60 seconds, well, of course it'll win. And that's great. Congratulations, you win, and I get the message. That's fine, right? But what if, oh, I'm also going to have it hide the timer. So if I get when I receive you win, I'm going to hide variable timer. The timer will just go away. All right, so that's one of the things that will happen in here, right? It's pretty straightforward. Now, the other thing I'm going to say when all this is done is what about if I lose? Because if I look at my backdrops here, What if I lose, right? Time's up, I lose. What the heck is that about? What if I lose? Well, do I want to handle that? Well, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to make it so that if the timer hits zero, if I take more than a minute to get through the maze, I'm going to lose. So that'll make it more challenging for my users, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this down in here, and I'm going to reset this, right? And everything's reset. And I'm going to go back to my code, go back to the kitty. Kitty starts the timer. It's already started there. Let's just give it a quick stop to stop it, right? And once I do that, the timer will get started. When it runs to zero, I'm going to have it check every time against that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an any key. When, go back to when any key is pressed, right? And we're going to evaluate if it's zero. If the timer, let's go to an equals sign. We're going to grab an equals here. We're checking this for zero. I'm going to say if the timer equals zero, all right, the timer hits zero, then what's going to happen is we're going to fire out a new message. We're going to send it out, call a new message called you lose. So we're going to broadcast a new message. The new message is called you lose. Broadcast it. And we're going to broadcast you lose. And over here, let's go over to the code. If I receive you win, you switch backdrop to blue sky. When I receive you lose, switch backdrop to moon. And the kitty, let's do something goofy to the kitty. When I receive you win, does that whole dance, right? How about when I receive you lose, where's when I receive, right? You lose, right? I'll add this in here. Then I'm going to point him, I'm going to copy all this, put it all in there, right? Except I'm going to change the direction to zero. And I'm going to find some kind of a sinister sound to add to that. So let's add something to the kitty sound that sounds really diabolical. Go in here, and let's sound something, yeah, effect, something scary, right? Right. That's a little short. That works. So there we go. It's called spooky string, right? So what's going to happen now, if you get to you lose, we're going to hide the timer, and we're going to play the sound, spooky string, until it is done. So let's reset it. The timer will start. Ooh, the timer's gone away. Of course it's gone away, right? Because when I receive, when the green flag is clicked, over the variables, show variable, timer, right? When I receive you lose, actually we're going to keep it on there. So we're only going to hide it if you win. Here we go. Start at the beginning. There we go. Starting all the way down there. We got to wait. And just go quickly. I'm going to make it a little faster. There we go. 2, 1. Interesting. Why is that not working, I wonder? Well, it's not working because no keys are being pressed. So as soon as I get in here and press a key, green flag, bring it down to a nice low number. It's not working. Why is that not happening? If timer, I know why. Then what has to happen is it's not timer 0. It actually has to be if timer is less than 1. because then anything it goes to, even if it goes below, will automatically fire a lose. So there we go. Reset. Set it down to here. There we go. So now that timer is working. And this key has to actually say when any key is pressed, if the timer is less than 1, broadcast you lose. So that is your reset of this game. And I'm going to click this down so it's a regular timer. And we're going to start running it around here. Around, as you can see, around we go. And I win. Going to reset everything, go back to the beginning, set the timer. I'm going to give me a slider so I can bring it down in here. Set it down to here for 3, 2, 1, start running it. And that's my death thing. That's the end of the game. Make that so. Put the timer like that when you're done. Hit the stop to stop the game. You're good to go. That is part 2 of the maze demo. Hope you enjoyed it.